Moxie, you are going to get to observe a character we create randomly in a style that we've developed here throughout the channel and throughout the time we've been broadcasting. So we are going to begin by rolling a percentile to figure out if we have a female character on a 1 to 45, a male on a 46 to 90, or a multi-class character on a 91 to 100. Oh no, Norton's in the donjon. Someone quick, go save Norton, please. In fact, Moxie Pox, you can use one of your wishes to free Norton if you wish. Get it? All right, let's roll a percentile. 89. Ooh, we're close to multi-class, but we have a male character. Now, Moxie, as we do this, I want you to imagine the character step by step as we're building it. Well, now him. One crit, you just gotta roll through it, like role play through it. You know, Moxie can use a wish. You can do some sort of role play, you know, finagling. All right, now that we have our gender, let's roll a 10-sided die, and we'll re-roll a 10 to determine which of the races we're getting. So we have a male 5. We have a male Dragonborn. Now, Dragonborn have their whole other chart over here for their subrace. Which kind of Dragonborn? Let's roll a d6 and find out. 3. So we have either a blue or a bronze. Odds chromatic, evens metallic. Evens. We have a male bronze Dragonborn. I gotta put the picture down. There we go. Norton, you say that, Norton, and the very first character we made this week was a bard. All right. Now let's continue. Look, stats at this point, I know for a lot of you this is redundant. For Moxie, stats are like the last thing we do for the character. We want to know who the character is. We don't care about the stats right now. Who is he? What does he do? Why does he do it? What compels him? What cows him? What inspires him? Who is he, aside from stats? Now I'm going to roll 2 percentiles and figure out what his alignment is going to be. 44 and 19. We have a lawful good character. We don't need to worry about any of the evil special rules. So now let's go to level. And we're going to roll on a distribution curve here. What level our character is going to be. We rolled a 74. This is going to be a level 16 character. Now you'll notice a level 16 what? We'll get there. Class is important, but class is only one of 3 legs of the stool upon which your character sits. Now, at level 16, that means we're going to get 4 ASIs, or ability score increases. At 4, 8, 12, and 16. Unless we're a fighter. Of those, let's figure out how many we're going to replace with feats. I'm going to roll a percentile. At 86, we're going to replace 3 of those with feats. Lawful good, that's no fun. Next up, we're going to go into the background of our character. Any race can work with any class, can work with any background. And we're going to do just that. Here's a 13-sided die, and we're going to hit roll. Number 1. Ooh, we have an Acolyte. Now, there's no real origin, or, you know, an Acolyte here doesn't really have a style. It's an Acolyte of, you know, a faith. But unlike Charlatan, who has a particular con, or an Outlander who has done something in the Outlands, a Sage with a field of research, Acolyte in this case is just an Acolyte all the way. But we are going to go down and manufacture some placeholders, right? We're going to make 2 personality traits, so we have a 6 and a 2. And then we're going to roll 3d6, 4, 2, 4. There we go. What do they mean? I don't know, and it's not relevant right now. All we need are the placeholders. We'll come back. We've cast our bones into the augury dish, and we'll read them as the haruspecs as we are in just a little bit. Oh, King the Unluck Elemental is among us. A Drow party. 9+4, and the Drow party takes down King. Oh my gosh. Well, at least it'll lead to an interesting encounter later, won't it, King? Now we have come down to our class. There are 12 classes in the PHB. Here's our big golden button. It has been expressed that there will be dismay if this comes up as a 2. Drow parties aren't real parties until someone dies, says Ivalon. Yeah, I mean, going to sleep is easy, because everyone just passes the poison around. Ain't no party like a Drow party. Alright, so, we want a Cleric. I've seen someone wanted something else above, too. Let's see what we get. Ready? The moment of truth. What will the D12 get us? Increasing tone of voice. Providing energy. 2. It's another bard. I don't laugh because bards are because bards are bad. It's just interesting because we bards aren't bad. It's just that the people have seen a lot of them. All right, let's roll this again and go odds or evens for lore or valor. Another 2 on the D12. However, evens means that we are going to be making a College of Valor bard. But look at that. We rolled a D12 twice and we got 2 twice. This is the bardiest bard to ever bard. Okay. No holes barred. This dude is that half-elf's true love from last night? Possibly, right? Well, no, I don't think it was bronze. I think we rolled up a copper, didn't we? I just opened the wizard's dice roller you're using and rolled a 2, then an 8. Then refreshed and rolled 2 again and another 2. Yeah, you come back and it's a bard, Norton. One crit says bards are the best class in the game. Fight me. Hashtag rigged. Alrighty, now we need a little bit more random number generation to materialize this person fully out of the mists of creation. This is a plot by Jeremy Crawford, I bet. Crawford! Here's our Dragonborn. We're going to start at 5'6" and we're going to add 2d8 inches. We're going to add 10 inches, and that is going to put us at 6'4". We're going to take this same 10 and multiply it by 2d6 and add that to his weight. 6, so we're adding 60 pounds to 175. So we have a 235-pound Dragonborn. Remember, that's him. You know, it's not his backpack. It's not whatever he's carrying on him, his swords. That's all him. And he doesn't even have a tail. Last piece of information. Let's find out where in the life cycle he is. That's going to be a percentile roll. An 81. An 81, he is an old Dragonborn. This is going to be column 5. We cross-reference it here, Dragonborn to column 5. He's between 66 and 75 years old. So let's roll a d10 and find out. A 10. All right. So he is old, and he is 75 years old, in fact. You're up too late again, Facty. One second here. Now, we have finished our random number generation. And you know what, Moxie, we do this because a lot of people, a lot of us tend to play, young adult, maybe adult, or some of us will go into the, if we look down here, a lot of us will go into maybe like the child prodigy, right? You're like, the 10-year-old in Pokemon going out into the world, or you're like a super smart 15-year-old, like a Doogie Howser kind of character. If you get that reference, I don't know, it's an older show. But you're a child prodigy in something, in fighting and casting and whatever. But, not many people may consider running an old character. And think about this same character, right? Everything we've generated. If you've had, up to this point, you've had a mental image of this Dragonborn in your mind. What's the difference if I go from from what you had generically to suddenly aging him to 75? Now what happens if I do this, Moxie? What if we put 25 and he's a young adult? Would this change perhaps how he expresses himself? How he comes to decisions? JT, I want to play an old dwarf with East Asian cultural influences. That could be very interesting, JT. And if you do that, please let me know how it goes. Quite a lot. He would have an entirely different mindset on most things. And you know what? All we did was add one number to the character sheet. And the entire roleplay dynamic has changed. And what's important now, Moxie, this 75 comes at the end, but it's going to lead us now into the personality of the character. Unlike how the PHB suggests to build characters, I like starting with the background first, because that represents who was this character before he adventured, before he was a bard, before whatever. How did he learn life skills? How did he learn how to, I don't know, repair a door or paint a sign or something along those lines? And so now we can view all of these personality traits through the lenses of a 75-year-old. And we can ponder what happened in life to bring him to this point. Where did he get this sense of justice that is conveyed partially through this lawful good alignment? Okay, we're going to put this away now. And we're going to come over here. If you want to bust out your PHB, we're going to Chapter 4. And remember, these are listed alphabetically. Acolyte is the very first. Here we go. Is the very first background. Let's put in some mechanics here first. We're going to get skill proficiencies in Insight and Religion. We're going to get 2 languages of our choice. Well, by virtue of being a Dragonborn, we'll get Common, Draconic, and then we can figure out some languages a little bit later. But there's 2 open slots. Now we're going to get a little bit of equipment. We will get a holy symbol. We will get a prayer book or prayer wheel. We'll get 5 sticks of incense. Vestments, which are our official, priestly, for performing a religious function. That's what you wear. Probably not what you want to wear out in the open unless you're trying to be a very blatant pilgrim. And a set of common clothes. And a belt pouch with 15 GPs in it. There's our 15 GP. Now, here is our background feature. Shelter of the Faithful. It goes at the top because many people tend to forget, in my anecdotal experience. Ivlon might be able to back me up in here too. And there might be other DMs out there who have experienced this. Moxie, maybe you have as well. Many people forget your background feature. It does a lot for your character in roleplay terms and in mechanical terms. In this case, this gets you and your party room and board. It continues the piety and understanding of the nature of the religion. It does so much. It can build good reputation. It's a very powerful thing to have. All right, now let's look at his personality traits. Number 6. I am tolerant or intolerant. So we'll do this. In/tolerant. Of other faiths and dis/respect the worship of other gods. We'll keep those as placeholders, and if we'll fill it in. Let's get a good idea of who he is. Personality trait number 2. I can find common ground between the fiercest enemies, empathizing with them and always working toward peace. That alone may remove the negative the negative prefixes to the words. Hey, Plunder Loot, good to see you. His ideal is number 4. Power. I hope to one day rise to the top of my faith's religious hierarchy. So as a bard, especially as an Acolyte bard, there's nothing saying then that we can't flavor him as maybe a wandering evangelist. Maybe the songs he sings are hymns, or he chants psalms, or religious texts. He goes out into the world and he's trying to make it a better place and find understanding. His bond is number 2. I will someday get revenge on the corrupt temple hierarchy who branded me a heretic. So maybe his faith is intolerant, and yet he is, and he can see greater things, and he can make peace between people. It's proven, but this doesn't work. Or maybe he was onto something, and someone wanted his position, and so they accused him of something, and this got him kicked out, even though he did nothing wrong. Or it was kind of a race to the religious patent office, and he was tripped along the way, and a competitor put in for something, and this got him impugned among his brethren. Sings in heretical minor keys. A singing dragon, I rather like the ones that speak poetry. Gregorian chants, Moxie? Yeah, that could be something too. And you know what? If we go back and take a look, we ended up rolling for a bronze, right? This is lightning. So as he's chanting or as he's singing, there's nothing saying that maybe he can. I was gonna say auto-tune because it's electric, right? No, but maybe it's something he's perfected. If you want to say Gregorian or maybe like a throat chanting or a throat singing, well, maybe this is where his lightning sac or whatever is stored. And so anytime he gets into this religious mood, then sparks kind of like zap and crawl between his teeth, and as as he's speaking holy words, sparks just sort of like fly from his mouth. And that way you know he's getting serious. All right, his flaws are number 4 because we are all flawed creatures. I am inflexible in my thinking. And you may say, all right, well, hang on. How does this work? If he's tolerant of other faiths and respect the worship of other gods, how can he be inflexible in his thinking? Well, his methodology is, no, we can make everything compatible. And so he has this stubborn optimism that, you know, these two very different people can get along, and maybe they can, but he will refuse to believe that they can't. Even though you have, you know, you have some people who just, they make babies, and fertility is the most, you know, wonderful thing to them. And then you have a tribe of cannibals that really loves eating babies. And he's like, no. We can do this. Yeah, I mean, where else would you keep your lightning, Roger? Do you have a better idea? As I flop my onion dome hat at you. So there we go. Moxie, we have a character right now. And we don't even really need to worry about the specifics of being a Dragonborn or a bard. We have a character right now. The race and class are almost irrelevant. I mean, they're going to add stuff, of course, but they're not going to be as relevant as what we just did, and that's why we do it first. Who is the character? What he does will be defined, but why does he do the things that he does? Yep, he can't be swayed. And you know what? Because of that, you know, lawful good doesn't have to mean that he is, you know, pious and follows the laws of a kingdom or whatever. This is an expression of someone who has that kind of stubborn, no, this is my credo, I'm going to follow it, I will be dogmatic about it, and I will achieve success. Now, let's look at what goodies we do get by being a Dragonborn. Because this is a part of the character, but it's not as important as what we just did. Whoops. Here we go. All right. Our strength increases by 2, and our charisma increases by 1. You know, if we have a College of Valor bard like this, who's an Acolyte, we effectively have a paladin on our hands. And if you don't believe me, there's an ability you're going to see that College of Valor bards get that is going to be smiting people. All right, so our strength and charisma go up. This is perfect. This is perfect for what I think we're trying to build here. Your young Dragonborn grow quickly. Yep, we have that alignment. Size, we are medium-sized. Our speed is 30, which gives us a 15 climb, a 15 swim, and a 0 fly. Now we have our draconic ancestry, and we have a bronze. There we go. So we have a draconic ancestry. If we come in here, I'll zoom in a little bit on this variant sheet, which, by the way, Moxie, if you want this sheet, type in !Charvar for character variant, CHARVAR. And if we go here, you get resistance to the type of breath weapon you have. So in this case, where it's IRV for immunities, resistances, and variances, this is going to be the dot we fill in. And if we come down here, we can just really put breath weapon. It is going to be a 5 by 30 foot line. Dex DC, and we'll figure that out here in just a little bit for half damage. This is 5d6. Okay, so that is our breath weapon, and our damage resistances we already have here, and languages we already have. So there we go. We did it. Congratulations, you're a Dragonborn. Wasn't that amazing? Is that as compelling as what we just did prior to this? Maybe. If you really like dragons, I suppose. Now we go to Chapter 3 and the Bard. We are a D8 hit die class, and we have 16 of them because we're 16th level. Bada boom. Nice and easy. We're not multi-class, so we don't have to worry about the other side over here. Oh, by the way, we have 0 dark vision. There we go. We get proficiency with light armor. Now, I'm going to be a little cheaty McCheaterson here, and I know that Valor bards get medium armor and shield proficiencies. So I'm just going to type those in to save some time. Weapons, we get simple, and again, peering a little bit ahead going into Valor, we are going to get martial weapon proficiencies as well. A diplomat's pack or an entertainer's. Now, you could, if this is your character, you could probably make a plea to your DM and say, can I take a priest's pack instead? Though that might be somewhat redundant to what you have as an acolyte. But don't be afraid to think outside the box and make deals and bargains with your DM. If you think something is thematic to your character, pitch it. What's the worst your DM's going to say? No? If anything, your DM is probably looking for creativity, looking for ways for you to engage in the world. Because as a PC, you are actually a co-DM. But for sake of simplicity and what we have here, let's give him a diplomat's pack. A rapier, a longsword, or any simple weapon. Well, you know what? If he's going Valor and we're effectively making a paladin, I think we should give him a longsword. We're going to make him a strength bard. We come over here, give him leather armor and a dagger. Yep, Moxie, players build the world just as much as the DM. That is absolutely correct. Absolument. Alright, we get cantrips and stuff. Forget about spells. We're not worried about spells until we're buttoning up our character. It's one of the last things we do. Don't get distracted by magic. Here is what we're looking at. Don't let this get you cross-eyed also. Most of this is magic. We'll take care of it in a little bit. Our proficiency bonus is 5. Let's go up and put that in. We're going to end up knowing 4 cantrips. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's take a look at our spell slots here at 16th level. 4, 3, 3, 3. 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay. Now we're just going to crawl through things here. You know, do it one at a time. We are going to get Bartok Inspiration. And we can put that down here because this is a place on this type of character sheet where you can put things like lay on hands, your shape changing as a druid, your key points as a monk, etc. So we're going to put Combat Inspiration, but we're also going to get something else from being a College of Valor. And it is going to be a D12. Bartok Inspiration / whatever, and this is going to be a D12. All right. We are also going to be a Jack of all trades. That means that we're going to get to add half our proficiency bonus rounded down to skills in which we are not proficient. We're also going to get Song of Rest. We can help our allies heal between combats by adding to their hit dice recovery. In this case, we're just shy of a D12. So this is a 1D10. There we go. Bard College we'll get into when we get into our archetype. We are also going to be getting Expertise. And with our level, we're going to apply Expertise to 4 of our skills. Ability Score Improvement. When you reach 4th level... Okay, yeah, we got that Font of Inspiration. Oh, by the way, we need to choose skills for this character. That's fine. As a bard, you're kind of loosey-goosey with that stuff. We can also Counter Charm. And so we can incant various orisons and prayers and other things to snap our allies out of a stupor. And finally, what Bard itself gives us, well, besides superior inspiration, is magical secrets. And we're going to learn 2 additional, so we are going to learn 4 spells. And you know what? We're probably going to have these be cleric spells for flavor. Eh? They don't have to be, but they can. Remember, if we're building to flavor, we're making a solid character, what would he do? And you know what? If you want to say, no. He is, but he's more of a druid, or if we're going the paladin route, he's more of an alternative ancient, or Oath of the Ancients paladin. And maybe we give him druid spells. And you know what? Maybe we bump up his wisdom a little bit. Which, by the way, we do get... Dexterity and Charisma are our saving throws. And we're going to get to choose 3 different skills for him. I would also suggest, look, you get training in 3 instruments. That could be useful for your character. Or do you want to try and approach your DM and say, can I learn 2 instruments in a routine? Can I be good at juggling, breathing fire, or in this case, breathing lightning? Can I be good at sword swallowing? Can I be good at, I don't know, a balancing axe, like the tight wire up here, the tightrope. I find the skills your character have can actually shape parts of your character. For example, I have a swashbuckler rogue who knows absolutely nothing about magic. She constantly points it out when people ask her to check magical items or traps. Paisy, hello! I need to take more time to look at other 5e classes, but I love Bard. Mechanically, it really fits what I want out of roleplay. And you know what? So let's do... How about buffoonery? Yeah, look, you jokes and whatnot. So let's choose his skills as an extension of his personality. He's tolerant of other faiths and respects the worship of other gods. He can find common ground between the fiercest enemies, empathizing with them and always working towards peace. That, I don't know, to me that kind of sounds like history. Now, if you don't think so and you have an alternative, throw it out there. We have 3. But I don't know, this one seems like he might be good at history. Power, I hope to one day rise to the top of my faith's religious hierarchy. Oh, that's, we could do that through either performance and or persuasion, right? If you want to give fierce either hellfire and brimstone orations, or if you want to go and preach it, brother, preach it, and you are the preachiest preacher to ever preach, and the harder you preach, the higher you climb, we can take a skill that can reflect that. Also, he wants to someday get revenge on the corrupt temple hierarchy who branded him a heretic. Could that be investigation? Are we looking at history, performance, investigation? I don't know. Facty, he already has religion by virtue of being an acolyte. Though it does seem like we're agreeing on history. Facty does seem to think persuasion. Yeah, I know the nerve, Norton. How dare people? Yongu is the god. What more could you want from a god? So maybe he gives very persuasive speeches. So we have history, persuasion, plus persuasion is good for being a diplomat too. For a bit of context, how did we end up on a clerical bard? He has an acolyte background. And as we were building him, he just really was resonating. He's 75, he's seen stuff, he's been through stuff. He aspires to be at the top of his religious hierarchy and also get revenge for the people who kicked him out probably when he was younger. And so he's effectively a paladin that we're building, Paisy. No problem, Facty. So if we give him investigation also, then that would make him maybe a little bit better at not only negotiating, piecing together, oh, but there's this and that and the other thing, but he could also use investigation to help find and maybe even set up the person who put him on this vengeful path. Sounds like he has a bit of a vengeful streak in him as well, so maybe intimidation, especially since he's a big old Dragonborn. If you want Moxie, yeah, we can do that. What would you like to replace? Here, we can replace investigation, and if you want, he can be persuasive, or he can condemn you to the lowest circle of hell. You know, he'll point his beefy one of his 4 fingers, I mean, if we're counting the thumb, and, and just, and sparks are flying from his mouth as he's slamming the pulpit, and he's reading from the book, and it's, no, that's fine, Moxie. Look, this isn't my character. This is our character. If he's a vengeful type, yeah, maybe intimidation is helping him get where he needs to go. So there we go. All right, now, for being a College of Valor Bard, we have already filled in our bonus proficiencies with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. We now get to add combat inspiration to our bardic inspiration as another way to use our inspiration die. We are also going to be getting an extra attack. And at level 14, we're getting battle magic. At 14th level, you have mastered the art of weaving spellcasting and weapon use into a single harmonious act. When you use your action to cast a bard spell, you can make one weapon attack as a bonus action. So, Paisy, what does that sound like? Does that sound like a paladin smiting people with his weapon? Only this time we're channeling bardic magic, or because our magical secrets, we can take paladin spells or cleric spells, and we can enchant our blade with them and cast through our blade into the wicked before us. And there we go. We're not finished building the character, but your tavern's complete. You shared it in the Discord night chat. And here, let's check it out real quick. And I have it closed. Really? Let's go over here. What do we got? Oh, hey, Facty, look at that. I like your torches. Thank you very much for sharing that, by the way. Paisy, effectively, yes, depending on the level. Oh, look at that. Sorry, Paisy, I'm also looking at Facty's tavern that he's building here. Facty, did you use Jenga blocks for this? And by the way, Moxie, please come in and check out our channel. Mini Jenga. Oh, you clever person, you. Especially if you take a look at you put these in if you want, Facty, you can put works in progress here in character art. Although it looks like someone put a thing from Pics and Memes. So last night, Rowmonger built an airship for his D&D campaign, and it's no longer a work in progress. This is the airship that he's going to be putting on the vinyl mat when they play Dungeons and Dragons together. To DM Scotty? Well, Facty, you know, if you want to put a link over to that, you can share that as well. But you all make some really fun and amazing things. Here's Dark Wolf's like little chibis and everything from the Maid RPG game that she plays in under Ivalon and with Volvo and others. I don't know if Volvo's here, but... Alright, let's go back to our character. Now we can start thinking stats, right? We have a beautiful chassis of a character. It's missing an engine. But otherwise, it has the shocks, the wheels, the gas tank, everything is ready to go, but the engine of the character, and it's time to drop that in. Yeah, please do, Moxie. We're going to use the standard array up here. And I think that we can do... Let's see. Strength should be important. Though, you know what? I think that we can build... we can do this very interestingly. What if we put our 15 in charisma and our 14 in strength, our 13... Maybe not. He can swing his sword, but he doesn't have to be super strong about it. What if we went 15? What if he's just a tough old man down here? 14. $13, $12, $10, and you know what? His old bones are... Oh, no. Dexterity? Dexterity is kind of important. I don't know. Maybe he takes magical shields. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of that? He's an old man. Maybe his dex is low. Yeah, he can wear heavier armors, and that's fine, but he doesn't have the best dex to maximize it. Or would you like to see him with... maybe the 13 in dex and the 8 in wisdom. So he's good at insight, but, maybe not so much perception, survival, and whatnot. Actually, bye now. All right, Facty, thank you. Do you like this spread? 12, 8, 14, 10, 13, 15. Or do you have another suggestion? By the way, I got to take the Onion Dome hat off. I don't have my fan on, and woo, it's getting a little warm. Because if we do this, then... So he's good at insight, and it's not like he'll be bad at the other skills, but this then, I don't know, maybe he does have some spring in his step. He's a spry old man. He's been exiled from the temple. He hasn't lived in the decadence of a sedentary life. He's been out forging, bonds between people and preaching the word and, getting the rabble-rousers in the countryside up and going. However you want to do it. If we lock this in, he's going to have a 14 strength because of his racial modifier and a 16 charisma. And you know what? If you just wanted a cantankerous old, SOB, then maybe... Look, one of the last Valor bards we made had a 10 charisma. and her strength score was out the roof because she would roll up on you in a breastplate, sword, and shield, and she would just be pounding down on you. And when you think you're like, okay, I got this. This is a fighter I'm going against. And when she starts casting, you know, she doesn't have a ton of spells, but that means she has to be, you know, she has to be tactical about it. But when she like delivers that magic blow through her sword, it catches you off guard. All right, we are gonna get one normal stat bump, but of the 4 that he gets, 3 of them we randomly rolled to be feats. You could do Dex and Wiz switched because he's an older person. With age comes wisdom. Sure. There you go, Moxie. Let's go, before we put any final numbers in, to Chapter 6 and discuss which feats he may take. The first one that came to mind is probably Inspiring Leader. You can spend 10 minutes inspiring your companions, shoring up the resolve to fight. When you do so, choose up to 6 friendly creatures within 30 feet of you who can see or hear you, and who understand you. Each creature can gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier, plus level. I don't know, it seems pretty good. We can take something like... Alert could be interesting. Actor, I don't know. He doesn't seem like the type to be an actor and want to deceive people. I think he's absolutely comfortable in who he is and what he's doing. He could have taken healer, perhaps. I tend to avoid lucky because lucky is just so universally good anyone can take it, and so therefore, not unless there's a really compelling reason. If we want even more, magic from other places, we can go magic initiate, or we can even or we can take ritual caster, which allows us to learn rituals from other spellcasting classes. Oh, you know what? Maybe he's observant. If he's someone who can, you know, bargain between different peoples, if you can see a creature's mouth while it's speaking a language you understand, you can interpret what it's saying, and you get a bonus to your passive perception and intelligence investigation. Oh, okay, so you're thinking linguist, observant, and sentinel? If we go to Sentinel, you have mastered techniques to take advantage of every drop in any enemy's guard, gaining the following benefits. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the creature's speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. Creatures within 5 feet of you provoke opportunity attacks from you, even if they take the disengage action. And when a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the attacking creature. So linguist and observant do dovetail really well together, Moxie. What is your inspiration for Sentinel? And I'm not saying that because I think it's wrong. Why are you putting Sentinel out there? What about this character speaks Sentinel? I would imagine him to be fairly hardy, maybe someone who's observed people a lot and as such is able to possibly read them rather well in a fight. Maybe to the point of subtle prediction. Ooh, alright. I like that. Would you want to keep linguist? Or perhaps, or observant, because we can drop either. Though if he's going to be in combat, especially if he's going to be using Sentinel, it may make sense to give him Warcaster. Now, if this is way too obvious and you think that Warcaster would actually detract from your vision of this character, then we can stick with what you've suggested, Moxie. This is an open forum. This is a discussion. So, what are your thoughts, Moxie, Paisy, Dark Wolf, Ivalon, anyone else out there? What do you are you liking any of these suggestions? I think I'd like something like Observant, Sentinel, and Warcaster myself. If nothing else, too, this means that he's just that old grizzled man who just will not, even if someone's beaten on him, he will not let someone stop him from smiting through his sword. Helios, trying to get into D&D. I have Pathfinder core rulebook. Should I stick with that or pick up a 5th edition? Hey, Captain Vanderclock. So, Helios, I personally have not played Pathfinder, though I have played 3.5 edition D&D, which was the kind of the spawn for it. They are going to play differently. Pathfinder has a lot more to keep track of, and you know, it's the preservation of that older D20 system, I don't say that there's anything wrong with that. 5th edition will be a different take on fantasy roleplay. You'll probably find it's more streamlined, and it does allow you a lot of roleplay flexibility. As we're building here, Helios, this is a character that we have drawn completely random elements, and they all harmonize, where it all makes sense. It's still a character that's coming together, and that we haven't really lost anything. So, I am biased, Helios, if only because I've never played Pathfinder. I would suggest getting into D&D. $50, core rulebook, that's 90% of what you need. It may be, I personally can't speak to that, but there could be people in this community here who can give their opinions as well. Though, Helios, if you'd like, we can make a character for you, and you can see the process, and you can make a decision for yourself. Alright, if we do this, then we are going to get a... we're going to get a +1 to wisdom, which is going to bump it to 14. And now we can put in our ability score increase. And if we want him, I don't know, if we want him to be able to hit harder, and use his Sentinel with more accuracy and more punishing ability, then we can pump his strength up. And he has old man strength, right? He's 75, but oh yeah, brother, you better ask for where the veterinarian is, because these pythons are sick. You'll just watch now? No problem, Helios. This is an interactive channel, by the way. Just because I'm presenting something doesn't mean you can't ask questions. The whole point of this channel in this community is to allow those who are like you to come in and you can lurk, you can ask a question, or, you know what, if this is your first night in the channel and you want to participate and just dive in feet first, we got you covered. You know what, Derek? That is a very, that is sage advice. And Plunder Loot, yep, the group dynamic. I'm sorry, I'm reading up here, too. Finding a good group. Okay, wait until August 2nd. Yeah, that's true. Also, Bubonic One brings up a good point, Helios. Pathfinder 2nd Edition is coming out this summer, and we'll be providing a PDF of beta rules. And you can play 2nd Edition Pathfinder, which I hope to be able to feature on the channel as well. And then we can actually make a comparison of the two. So what if we dump the 2 points that we have left over into strength, right? So this is going to give us a 3, a -1, 2, 0, 2, and 3. Now from here, now that we have the engine of our character, let's hook up the fuel lines and let's hook up the transmission. You know, we have everything ready to go. Let's make the connections. Strength saving throw is 3. Athletics is 5. Wait a minute. How does that work? Aha. Remember, jack of all trades. Half your proficiency bonus rounded down to skills in which you are not proficient. We are not proficient in athletics, but we can still add 2. There you go. Old man strength, right? Dexterity. Your saving throw is -1. However, you're going to get a +1 acrobatics, sleight of hand, and stealth. Your con saving throw is a 2. Intelligence is a... Oh, I'm sorry. This is going to be a 4. Sorry, because you're proficient in Dex and Charisma. Your intelligence saving throw is a 0. Your Arcana is a 2. Investigation 2. Nature 2. Your history and religion are going to be 5 and 5. Wisdom saving throw is 2. Animal handling, though, is 4. 4 medicine, 4 perception, 4 survival. And insight is going to be 7. There's a reason this old guy has lived so long. Charisma. 3 plus 5 is 8, at least last I checked. Intimidation is going to be an 8. Persuasion's an 8. Deception is going to be a 5. And performance is a 5. That was simple, right? Well, not necessarily. We actually get 4 expertises yet for our skills. And if you zoom in a little bit here, you see these little like moons against the planet? If you click that in, that's indicating that you have an expertise in that skill, and you can add your proficiency bonus twice. If we do that, Moxie Poxy, Bubonic, anyone out there, which 4 of his skills does he have expertise? History, religion, insight, intimidation, or persuasion? If you want to build an even better case why this guy's been alive for a while, Moxie. And you know what? Expertise can also be used if you want to shore up things that aren't as good, such as, you know, your intelligence here. So you could go history and religion and boom, make those 10s. Moxie thinks religion, history, insight, and persuasion. Captain, what gets us what? Rendakuo? You want persuasion or intimidation? So it sounds like persuasion would be good because he wants to be at the top of his order. Then we had insight, religion, and history were his 4 expertise. If we do that and we add another 5, that's going to give him a 10 history and a 10 religion. Whoa, haha, I wrote 20. He's going to go up to a 12 insight. And he's going to go up to a 13 persuasion. Here we go. Expertise. As a bard, you get expertise in 2 skills at first, and then another 2 skills later on. Expertise allows you to add your proficiency twice to the skill in which you're proficient. Rogues also get expertise, although they have the option of taking an expertise in Thieves' Tools. Which, if you really wanted to, you could probably make an argument for your bard if you're making a sneaky bard, like a rogue bard. Or maybe you want expertise in an instrument or some kind of performance, like a juggler or something along those lines, or telling jokes. Okay. Now, remember that initiative is a dexterity check. And we go, oh no, you know, his knees, he's 75, his knees are going. Remember though, Jack of all trades adds half proficiency rounded down to any ability checks. Skills are ability checks. Initiative is an ability check. His initiative is +1, even though he has a negative dexterity. His armor class, as we have him rolled up here, with leather armor, is going to be 10. Now, that being said, look, he's a level 16 character. He could probably just take breastplate and sit at it's 16, but dex does affect it. So it'd be 15 with a shield. So he could roll up on you in a breastplate and shield and be at an AC of 17. Which is pretty darn good. Passive perception is 10 plus your perception modifier, therefore a 14, and that represents your natural awareness of what's going on around you, and it prevents so many unnecessary dice rolls. Yeah, or you know what? He could take magical spells that will give him armor too, Bubonic One. Okay, hit points. Let's fill in our hit points. At level 1, you get your maximum amount of hit points equal to your hit dice. As a bard, well, that was easy. Now, every level after first, one, I would hope common method, and this is my preferred method, is for every level past first, so in this case, 15, right? It's a level 16 character, but remember, level 1, and then here's our other 15 levels. You take half your hit die plus 1 as your hit point advancement for your level up. In that case, it's going to be 15 times 5, right? Half of 8 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And he's had 15 other levels to grow. But wait, there's more. For every level of your character, therefore all 16 levels, you get bonus hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. And therefore, a 2. Congratulations, here's our algebra. Here is a 32. Here is a 75. So we go up here to 83. We have 115. That's a pretty solid bard, wouldn't you say? Now, to hit with his weapons and to really use this Sentinel feat, which was a very creative feat to offer for Moxie. These are strength-based weapons. A longsword is going to get our 3 from our strength. However, we're proficient with longswords. And therefore, we're going to add our proficiency bonus, thereby giving us a +8. Daggers are the same. Daggers are by default strength-based weapons. However, they have the keyword of finesse on them, meaning you can use dexterity if you wish, though we're going to stick to strength. Longswords are a 1d8 weapon, so there's your weapon damage. However, you get your strength modifier as bonus damage. And it's going to be the same with your dagger, except a 1d4 plus 3. Piercing and slashing. Now, one extra rider on longsword is it's a versatile weapon. If you're using it in both hands, you can roll a d10 instead of a d8. Now, let's come down here and figure out our attack bonus for spells. If we're going to point our finger at someone and go pew 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 at them, it's a similar concept to weapons above. However, these are bard spells, and they use charisma. Well, just like strength, 3 plus 5 is 8. We are going to be swinging with a we're going to be casting at a +8. The difficulty class to resist the effects of your spell is going to be 8, a solid number 8, always 8, 8 plus your attack modifier. Therefore, 16. His Bartok Inspiration, he gets a number of those equal to his charisma modifier, and that was easy. We are almost finished with this character, who, by the way, look, he's no longer a set of stats. He's not a standard array up here. Think up of a name. What is the name of this character? Is this character's name Moxiepox? Moxiepoxy? Is it some weird archaic draconic name? You want to call him something else? What's nice about here's our page 3 spells. We're casting as a bard. We're casting off of charisma. Our save was 16. Our attack was +8. And here we have our Bardic Inspiration / Combat Inspiration. And these are being rolled at D12s. We're going to get 3 of them. Grandpa Dragon Bard. Good old Grandpa Dragon Bard. The stories he has to tell, I'm sure. I bet he's been around. He's seen things. 4 3 3 3 2 1 1 1. Okay, and we're almost finished. Now we can go back, and the last thing is spells. Because it's so dependent on stats and other things, I find it's easier to do it this way. At least with our methodology. If we come over here, take a look, you know 4 spells at level 1. I would recommend listing at which level you are getting your spells. Rendakuo says a white drake. It'd be interesting. He's bronze, but maybe, I don't know, maybe he's dulled or grayed a little bit with his age. If you look at level 2, we know 1 more spell, but it cannot be cast outside of first level. And so you can come down here and say, yay, here's my level 2 spell. At level 3, if you want to take another first level spell, you may do so. However, if you look, we can now cast second level spells. So if we go here, this will be 3 and this will be 4, because you can see this is incrementally increasing. Though keep in mind, that we do jump spells. And that's because your this is taking into consideration your magic that you're taking from other classes. Your magical secrets. Also, as a bard, between levels, if you want to swap something out, for instance, you have this spell here, and you know what? You've never really been using whatever this spell is. It's Tasha's Hideous Laughter or something. And you ran out of dad jokes to be your verbal component. You can move, in addition to gaining the new spell, you can move this here at level 4. So level 4, you get this spell, and then you can take this and pop it down here. And now you have 3 level 3s if you desire. So bear that in mind as an option. You're kind of fixed into your spells-ish, but you do have a little bit of swap and play room. But if we continue along the standard progression, you don't want to change anything. This is what's happening. 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, and this is 10. Then we go 13, 14, 15, and 16. If we're sticking to... Right, I want to make sure I did that correctly. 1 and 2. 3 and 4. 5 and 6. 7 and 8. 9 and 10. And then it goes from 12 to 14. Because at level 9, we're actually getting our 2... this is when we're getting our magical secrets. So, I don't know, let's say we go... our magical secrets here are going to be Cleric. And then we can type in... We can have it be a level 5 spell because we can cast it, but if you want, you can go through and say, we're going to take a level 5 Cleric spell and a level 2 Cleric spell. And then we come to 11, where we get another spell here. And then we look at 12, and we do not get a new spell. We will get one at 13th level, however. Then we go to level 14, and we get 2 more... We get 2 more magical secrets. And so maybe we want to go magical secret, and we're gonna take a paladin. We're gonna take a smite because we want to cast through our sword. And we're gonna take another one over here. We're gonna take a 3rd level paladin spell. However you want it to be. So there's 11, our 16... so we're going to get 1 more at level 15 and nothing at 16. Though we can cast within an 8th level spell. So those are examples. I'm not going to go through and pick out the spells, at least right now in the broadcast. But it's something to think about as you're developing this kind of a character. Okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to take about a 10-minute break. I'm going to refresh my water. Actually, I might put a pack of lemonade in there and make some nice, cold, fresh lemonade. Just name them for when you get to it. How about Abner? It's Hebrew, meaning my father is a light. Oh, interesting. I like this for a last name hornblower and make one of his instruments a horn or a bugle. Drake Brownscale? I don't know. Helios, are the Dragonborn seen as a common race in a regular campaign? Yes, although ultimately with anything else, Helios, it's DM's decision. Your DM might say, nope, everything is human. Even elves. Elves are just a different type of human. They're just a dexterous human. And Dragonborns are, I don't know, a different kind of human altogether, or that's not even a reskinnable race. Sort of uncommon, like all half-breeds, but not unheard of. Tieflings are the same. Helios. Yeah. Alright, so, hang tight. I'm going to go get a snack. I'm going to make some lemonade. I'm going to turn a fan on, too, by the way. You know, because, Moxie, we're stealing your summer up here in the Northern Hemisphere. And I'll be back. And, Helios, if you want to make a character, the offer is still open. Otherwise, we can piddle around in MS Paint, and we can go over some map making in a similar fashion. We can make a complete map from random elements. And we'll go from there.